Hello and welcome to Our Year with the Ears, our daily vlog where we relive our year living in the Walt Disney World resorts in 2019. Today is day 231.
It's moving day once again, and we are actually going to a very interesting hotel today. I say that because it's one we have not been to before and will not be going back to, so we're kind of excited to see this brand new hotel. It is called Shades of Green, and it's new to us because Shades of Green, while on Disney property, is not technically a Disney resort. It is located across the street from the Polynesian, so we actually aren't going very far. We're leaving the Polynesian, going right across the street to Shades of Green, but Shades of Green is a military resort. It was created for military families who would like to go to Walt Disney World but pay cheaper prices. Still a wonderful resort to stay at, but we have never stayed there because neither of us have ever been in the military, nor are we currently, so it was not a place we thought we could ever stay. However, a friend I knew a long time ago reached out and said, "Hey, my family is taking a surprise trip just in a couple weeks. I know you guys have talked about maybe doing Shades of Green if you ever had the opportunity, because we've had a lot of people ask us about it, but we don't know anything about it because we haven't stayed there." She said, "If we hosted you, would you want to stay there?" And we're like, that would be amazing because we didn't think we could. So as the sponsor family, they booked the room for us and we paid them for it. And today is check-in day for that. It's really nice too because we aren't going very far. So we literally got packed up early this morning, called Bell Services so they could transfer our bags over there. And then we literally were able to walk from the Polynesian right across the street to Shades of Green and get checked in. But we didn't stay very long because our room is not ready and our friends are not there yet. We have the annual pass holder preview for Galaxy's Edge, second time going before it's even officially open. So we hopped in an Uber and headed to Hollywood Studios because we don't want to miss a second, and we were running a little behind this morning. So we paid for the Uber over there so we could get there as soon as possible.
When we got to Hollywood Studios, we went straight towards Galaxy's Edge. It is park opening time and we're waiting for our window to open to go into Galaxy's Edge. When we got there to the entrance, we did not go into Galaxy's Edge because I got sidetracked by a sign that said annual pass holder merchandise this way. So I took a detour over by Muppets into the store where I could see all the awesome Galaxy's Edge annual pass holder merchandise that they had. They had several different shirts, so I got myself a shirt and got Alyssa a shirt as well. And they had a really cool hat that I just had to have. I know I just bought one a couple days ago at the cast member preview, but you can never have too many good hats. At least that's my motto. They had some other cool stuff like pins. Of course, we had to have one of the landing soon pins for Galaxy's Edge. They had these really cool light up Millennium Falcon lanyards you could get, and a couple exclusive magic bands, as well as some patches if you were into the whole patches on backpacks and jackets thing. We bought a couple shirts and my hat, and of course that pin, and then we headed out over towards Galaxy's Edge, ready to check in for our preview. I also registered for building a lightsaber at Savi's workshop today. I am so excited about this, but I have been going back and forth all day trying to figure out, do I want to go light side? Do I want to go dark side? There's so many choices. I don't even know what I'm going to do. I'll just figure it out whenever I get there to build it.
We walked into Galaxy's Edge, and the first thing we have to do, because I'm here, is we have to take a picture together. So we went in front of the A-Wing. There was a Photopass photographer there. They took a couple pictures of us and then did a magic shot, which actually was really cool.
I like this one.
And because it's still early in the morning and we are very hungry, we headed to Ronto Roasters. We wanted to try the breakfast Ronto wrap because we've had the lunch one now, so we wanted to try the breakfast one. And this one was really good too. I'm not sure which one's my favorite because I love both. And it still surprises me because that's not normally my type of thing, but they're so good.
Yeah, I could totally eat a Ronto wrap for breakfast every single day. I do like the lunch one too, but I think because I know that I could eat the breakfast one every day, I don't know if I could do the lunch one every day. That makes me think I probably like the breakfast one just a little bit more. But because we're here for the preview, we don't want to get full on just Ronto wraps. We just shared the one, and then we headed over to Docking Bay 7 because they are also serving breakfast. And when we were here the other day for the cast member preview, we didn't even go to Docking Bay 7. We started off with a lava roll, which is basically a Star Wars version of a cinnamon roll that's got some Oreo crumbles on top. It was really, really sweet. And if you're into like sweet breakfast pastries, this is a great option. Not exactly what we wanted. We were kind of loving that Ronto wrap, so maybe wouldn't get this next time. We'd probably just stick with the Ronto wrap. And then we also got a plate. They had the Bright Sun's Morning that was basically the same sausage from the Ronto Ronto wrap with a little egg bite, as well as a miniature cinnamon roll, just like we had the big one, and some potatoes in there. It wasn't bad, but overall we still liked the Ronto wrap better. I felt like this was just kind of a basic breakfast, really well presented, really cool plating and everything, but I'll stick with the Ronto wrap.
Once we were done with breakfast, we did start making our way over to Savi's workshop. We've got a little bit of time till we need to be there, but obviously we don't want to be late because someone's really excited.
Very excited.
So we started walking over there, and it is amazing how many Star Wars characters you see walking around Galaxy's Edge. We saw stormtroopers walking around. They kept asking me what I was doing with my device. Of course, I was videoing and taking pictures, but they have different language for all of that. And then we saw Rey walking around, which I thought was just awesome. We didn't really see a lot of characters walking around during the cast member preview. It is just so cool how many characters we have seen walking around. And this is so different than the other parks at Walt Disney World, because generally you don't see characters just freely walking around, just doing whatever. And so this has been so amazing to see, and a really special thing to Galaxy's Edge. When we finally made our way over to Savi's workshop, it was time to check in, and Robert finally had to decide which lightsaber he was going to build.
I have been so back and forth on this. I even put a poll on Instagram this morning to say, hey, help me pick a side, but the poll wasn't much help because it was pretty much split down the middle at this point in the day, and that's not helpful. I don't even know what to pick. They have 4 different options. They have one dark side option called Power and Control, and they had 3 different styles of light side lightsabers. The first one was Peace and Justice, which is kind of inspired by the original trilogy. I really like the look of some of those. They had one called Elemental Nature, which was created just for Galaxy's Edge. A lot of natural type elements. Pretty cool, but probably not the one that I'm gonna do, even though it is really awesome. And they had Protection and Defense, which was kind of inspired by the prequel trilogy lightsabers. I've narrowed it down. I've decided I'm gonna go light side, and I'm torn between the prequel trilogy era Protection and Defense or the original trilogy era Peace and Justice, and ultimately I decided to go with Peace and Justice, so they gave me a pin to wear on my shirt representing the one that I've chosen, and I went over and got in line waiting to go into Savi's workshop.
While we were standing there and Robert was trying to decide which lightsaber he wanted to build, some stormtroopers came over and actually started interrogating the cast member that was helping us.
Oh, you're gonna have one co-pilot with you?
Sorry to interrupt, but we'd like to know what you're doing on that data pad.
Just checking scrap metal. Price is right.
All right, proceed, but stay on civilian frequencies.
Will do.
That was really fun to watch. And then while we were waiting to go in, we had to wait for the whole group to get there. Kylo Ren came over as well and was interrogating some little kids around the area that we were in. It's just so cool to see all the interactions that are here in Galaxy's Edge. So many characters walking around. We saw Chewbacca so many times today. It was a lot of fun. But we are definitely excited to finally go into Savi's workshop and see what this lightsaber build is truly all about.
When we got inside, we all gathered around this huge table and had this kind of workspace in front of us, and they had this person in there who was helping us build our lightsaber for the very first time, and they went through the entire story of how to do it. And the first thing we have to do is choose our kyber crystals, and I don't even know what color to pick. I know I went light side, but I have no idea which one to pick because there's green, blue, and purple. They told us to choose the very first one that called out to us, and that's the color we need to pick. I really wanted to go with purple because I love the look of it. I love Mace Windu's lightsaber, but the first one that called out to me was the green, so I chose the green kyber crystal instead. We set that down, and then we got to work building our actual lightsaber hilts. Even though I already chose a style of hilt that I'm going to be building, I have 5 different pieces to put together, and there's 2 options for each of those 5 pieces. So there's actually 10 different pieces in front of me, and I've got to choose which one of each piece I want. I worked on putting it together and trying to find the right configuration for the way I want my saber to look. This was just such an amazing experience. They had music going in the background the whole time, this background score that you can hear, and there was this narration going on with the people who were leading it and explaining how to do everything. Just a really awesome experience to go through. And once I was done putting it all together, we set it up there on the stand waiting for everyone else to finish theirs, and then they locked them into the activation chamber, and all at once we turned on our lightsabers in the activation chambers. It was such a cool thing to see, and then we raised them all up and turned them all on. It was amazing. We all had goosebumps and were just freaking out because we just built our very own lightsabers. They wrapped up the experience by explaining a few more things to us, and on our way out, they gave us a carrying case to put our lightsaber in, so we have a little bit of protection while we're here on Batuu and exploring the land and riding the rides and stuff like that.
Well, that was the coolest experience ever. I highly recommend it.
As much as Robert enjoyed being in there and building his own lightsaber, of course the experience was for him. I was just the extra person videoing while I was in there, and you can see that entire video down in the description below. I'm in there videoing this whole thing, and when everyone lit up their lightsabers, the hairs on my arm stood up. I got goosebumps too, and I'm like, I'm not even the Star Wars fan. I'm just here for him to like support him and video all this. That's how amazing this experience is. It's not just awesome for the person building the lightsaber to be there in the room when this is happening. They truly go all out and create this story and this amazing feeling for everyone there.
And what she's not telling you is that when we left, she said, okay, next time I'm building one of those. So she really, really enjoyed it because she went from, oh, that's okay, you can build a lightsaber too, I think I want to build a lightsaber too. We went next door to Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities. We actually didn't go in this store at all when we were here for the other preview. This is where you can find a lot of the really cool Star Wars merchandise, like the Legacy lightsabers, which are replicas of some of the characters we might recognize from the Star Wars universe, and a bunch of other really cool Star Wars merchandise like busts of some of the characters and maybe the dice that Han Solo has, just a bunch of random things. But the reason I was in here was to get myself a belt clip for my lightsaber so I can carry it on my belt for the rest of the day. I knew I was going to get one of these because I found out they existed, and I wore a belt specifically so I could hang my lightsaber on it today. Once I had that belt clip, I walked over in front of the Falcon because now I get to get some pictures with my new lightsaber. And just like for the cast member preview, there's basically nobody around in front of the Falcon, but now there is a Photopass photographer here, and apparently I was not the first person to be out there taking pictures with a lightsaber because he had a bunch of different poses for me to do with the lightsaber that turned out pretty cool, and I enhanced a couple of them later by making my lightsaber light up while I was in these pictures.
When he was done posing for all of his pictures, we did take some pictures together as well. We also got another magic shot with a porg on our arm. Those are just so fun. Like, I love them so much. We took several pictures together in front of the Millennium Falcon, and then it was time to ride the Millennium Falcon. This will be ride number 5 for us. We're very excited. We were not pilots this time. We just joined with another group, but we're just excited to be on the ride again, riding, and it is so much fun. I actually really love riding with other groups that haven't ridden before because the craziness that ensues between the pilots and the gunners is amazing. And when you're the engineer and you don't have a lot going on in the back, it is just awesome to sit back, relax, and watch all of that happen as everyone is trying to steer, figure out what they're supposed to be doing, hit the button, hit the guns. It's amazing and so much fun.
When we got off the Falcon, I had downloaded the Disney Play app, and we saw some signs that they now have the app active here on Galaxy's Edge. It wasn't active for the cast member preview, but it is now, and there's a whole part of the app now for Galaxy's Edge called a data pad that you can use to scan these QR codes all around Galaxy's Edge and play these little mini games to unlock different stuff. Sometimes you'll find some weapons in the crate, or maybe you'll find a costume in the crate. All of this digital stuff that you can collect and even trade with other people who have the Disney Play app. So we walked around in the queue area of Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run and a few other areas, scanning some QR codes on the crates and taking pictures of things and playing the little mini games to unlock all the different stuff. While we were doing that, we happened to see some stormtroopers go by, and they had captured the rebel spy Vi, who's here on the planet, and we saw them take her away around the corner, and it was like, oh man, they actually captured her, what's gonna happen? And next thing we know, we hear a commotion from back over around the corner, and she comes running out and somehow escaped the stormtroopers who had captured her. So of course, when they came out looking for her, we didn't give them any information. I didn't see anybody. I don't know what you're talking about. At this point, I was ready to take some pictures here around Galaxy's Edge. I did bring my camera today. I was very excited to have very low crowds and have some places to take some pictures. So I set up there by the Falcon and took a few shots there. And I got to play with some of my more creative stuff like my lens baby, which gives some kind of interesting focus to the pictures. and my lens ball, which makes everything look like it's inside the ball and creates a really unique effect for the pictures. I worked my way through the land taking pictures at the cantina and then over in front of the First Order shuttle. From there I went over towards where the land speeder was parked and took some pictures there, and then into Droid Depot. I found R2-D2 in there and took some pictures of him. This was our first time inside Droid Depot, and we're not gonna build a droid today, but we wanted to see what it was all about and how it worked. It was actually really cool. Not the same as the lightsaber. The lightsaber was a little more immersive, I would say, but the droid building looks really fun. There's parts hanging from the ceiling and riding around on conveyor belts, and you pick up your parts and go build them at your little station. It's not something that I'm really interested in doing, especially while we're living out of suitcases. The lightsaber was a necessity. The droid not so much. But eventually maybe we'll come back and build some droids.
At this point, we have been all around Galaxy's Edge. We have had a very busy morning and early afternoon, and we are very hungry now. So we headed back to Docking Bay 7 to check out what they have for lunch. And I got the fried Andorian tip yip, which is basically what they call fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and vegetables, but it sounds a lot cooler than that, let me tell you.
And I got the braised shock roast, which is, again, kind of like pot roast on our planet, but Batuuan food is interesting. It's from all over the galaxy, and it tastes a lot like food from Earth. I enjoyed my pot roast. I had some pasta with it that was pretty good too, but I actually liked Alyssa's food better than mine.
Oh yeah, the fried chicken is amazing. The sauce they put it in is awesome. So this is what we will definitely be getting again next time we're here.
And we did get a dessert. They have the Oi Oi Puff, which is pretty much just a raspberry cream puff, but it had some amazing presentation. I love the way it looked on the plate. It did have some food coloring, so Alyssa couldn't eat it, so I ate it all by myself. It was good, but honestly, I just liked it for the presentation. It was so cool looking.
After we finished lunch, we went back to the Millennium Falcon to ride it again, time number 6 for us. This time we did ask if we could be pilots when we got all the way through the line. So we stepped aside and waited until we could be, and they assigned us the pilot positions. And we both did pretty well, I have to say. I did a lot better than the first time I was a pilot because that was awful. But the first time you're riding it, you're kind of trying to watch to see everything going on, but you're also supposed to be doing something. It's really hard to enjoy the ride when you're supposed to be working the whole time. So you really need like a practice time the first time, which is basically the first time you ride it. And this time I did a whole lot better because I knew what to expect, I knew how to drive, and we did really well this time. After we got off the ride, we did see more characters walking around Galaxy's Edge. It never gets old. It's just super cool, and I love seeing them. We headed over to see the new Coke and Sprite bottles that are specific to Galaxy's Edge. We've seen pictures and they look super cool. And these things are awesome. The fact that they specifically made Coke bottles, not just for Walt Disney World, but for one little part of a park of Walt Disney World. Like, that is serious dedication.
I mean, it's all part of the immersiveness, right?
It is.
You gotta have something that lets you know that it's Coke, but at the same time doesn't look like anything from Earth. It's got this thermal detonator shape. It's pretty cool. We went from there back into the marketplace. We noticed that the popcorn was open today. They have this multicolor Galactic Outpost popcorn. We did not get any of that, mostly because I don't want anything else to eat, and Alyssa can't have it with the coloring on there. We walked through looking at the different merchandise shops, and Alyssa saw the Toydarian toy maker had the dolls out again today, and she absolutely loved these.
I do. They are so cute. They just remind me of like an old-fashioned Christmas. I love them so much. And as you can see, I really, really love them because
we have them all now.
We didn't get them the year that we lived in the resorts because we
No.
really had nowhere to put them. But once we did have a home, we found a home for them as well.
At this point, we're pretty much done in Galaxy's Edge for the day, so we started working our way out. We did stop several times along the way to take some more pictures. There was the X-Wing over there and all the radio towers and stuff, and I was also playing in the Play Disney app, trying to activate the radio towers and turn on the X-Wing, all that cool stuff. It's really impressive how much the app actually interacts with the physical world around you. Like when I do stuff to the X-Wing, it actually comes on and like fog starts coming out. It was pretty crazy. When we got out of Galaxy's Edge, we decided not to stick around in Hollywood Studios, but head back to our hotel. So we went to the front of the park and hopped on a bus back over to the Polynesian. And that's when we realized we're actually not staying at the Polynesian anymore. We moved rooms this morning and went to Shades of Green and checked in, but completely forgot about that because I'm too excited about the lightsaber that I built and the pictures that I took and the amazing morning I've had there on Batuu. So we got all the way to the Polynesian and we're like, well, I guess we can walk back over to Shades of Green again, but it's really, really hot outside, and we looked in the app and Uber was only going to be $3 for us to go from Polynesian over to Shades of Green, so we just called an Uber and took that over to the resort.
We got all checked in and saw our friends and talked to them for a bit because it's been a long time since we've seen them. Caught up with them for a bit, and then they showed us where our room was. We took pictures in the room and then did a full room tour for YouTube and Facebook.
We've got a table and chairs over here with our ice bucket and a couple cups there. No desk in the room, but the little table is nice to have, so you do have a space to sit and eat and or work. And then this room has actually a pretty great view. It rained, so everything got kind of wet and the windows fogged up, but you can see we have a little balcony out here. There's a couple chairs and a table. Not a huge balcony, but it's decent sized. And we have a view of the golf course out here. So there were some people out here earlier playing golf, and then the rain started, so they took off running, and now...
And if you'd like to see that entire room tour, it is linked down in the description below and up there in the corner. Now, our friends had just gotten into town and they were kind of tired from traveling, so they were just going to take the rest of the day and rest. We told them that was fine. We're going to meet up with them tomorrow morning for breakfast, and in the meantime, we're going to go and explore the resort. So we left our room, went down to the lobby, and just kind of started walking around looking to see what we could find. Right next to the lobby, we found that they had an ice cream shop, which is a very good thing for us because we love ice cream. But we didn't order anything now. We are planning to try and get some dinner later on. So we just kept walking and looking around. We found their ticket center where they actually sell discounted tickets for military members for the theme parks, not just Walt Disney World, but other theme parks in the area, and things like the Halloween party tickets that are also discounted. They also had a business center there that you could work in, which was something I took a mental note of because I may need to use that a little bit later. And then we went down and started looking for the restaurants here.
We found they had an Italian restaurant that only serves dinner called Mangino's. That looked really good for dinner tonight, so we may come back there. They also have a buffet called Garden Gallery. This is where we're planning to go for breakfast tomorrow morning, but we wanted to see all the different options they have because every night they do a different theme with the food, which is really awesome because you don't always want the food that is served at a buffet, so it's nice to know they change it up. We continued exploring the resort and found they had a yoga studio with classes as well. They're completely free, which is really awesome. When we went further down the hall, we found they had a spa. This was something new we had no idea about. We had done a little bit of research before we stayed here. We had not seen anything about a spa, so we went inside. No one was in there except one person working, so we're like, can we ask what your prices are? And they were way better than the spas at Walt Disney World, so we asked if there was any chance they have any availability for a massage in the next couple days. And we were able to book something 2 days from now, so we're super excited because we have not had a massage all year, and with moving all those suitcases and walking around Walt Disney World all year long, we're definitely starting to feel it, so a massage sounds awesome.
I'm sure there's more to the resort that we could explore, but we're gonna save that for another day. We are here for a few days, and we're hungry, so we headed back over to the restaurants, to Mangino's, and got a table. There were only a couple other families in the entire restaurant, so we figured we could get seated pretty quickly, and we did. They brought out some bread while we were deciding what to order, and we settled on a couple appetizers and a couple entrees. We got the fried calamari because we really can't turn that down pretty much anytime we see it on the menu. We both love it. It was really good. It had some nice cocktail sauce with it, and we ate all of that because you do not want to reheat fried calamari. And we also got the fried mozzarella balls, which are pretty much giant mozzarella sticks, and of course we enjoyed those. And then our entrees came, and I got the chicken Alfredo. This is kind of my go-to plate at any Italian restaurant, as long as I'm not getting chicken Parmesan. One of the two is usually what I'm gonna order, and I really enjoyed this. The chicken had been marinated and was really good, and I love their Alfredo sauce.
And I ordered the filet with mashed potatoes. I can never turn down anything with mashed potatoes, but I also added a side of shrimp because I love shrimp. I was really wanting it tonight, and the shrimp was so good. I was really glad that I ordered this. The filet was delicious as well. This was a really filling meal, but it was exactly what I wanted. I was so glad I ordered it.
This wasn't the best meal we've ever had or anything like that, but it was solid, and it was a lot cheaper than some of the restaurants on Disney property. I feel like everything here at Shades of Green is just a little bit cheaper, which is kind of a nice break for us because we've been paying Disney prices for everything the entire year. On top of that, the portions were huge on dinner, so we have plenty of leftovers for another meal another day. We decided to forego dessert tonight because we are just exhausted. It's been a very long day and it's getting late, so we headed back up to our room, and that was the end of our day today. So we'll see you tomorrow
For our Year with the Ears.